words, I think, that made these debates sometimes cringeworthy. It was the candidate's body language. Our body language, how we hold ourselves, it tells us a lot. So here now is someone who studies this, Tonya Reiman. Now, Tonya, we couldn't squeeze you in last night, so I'm so glad you're back tonight. You noticed a particular way that Andrew Yang was engaging with the audience. Let's watch.
Raise your hand in the crowd if you've seen stores closing where you live. It is not just you.
You say these gestures matter, are smart. Why?
Right, because what he's doing is he's instructing you. So when he goes, raise your hand, what he's doing is he's telling you what to do. And in doing that, you follow that first instruction, and then you tend to follow whatever he tells you to do next. So once you start yesing someone, you tend to yes them indefinitely. And he uses his hand gestures well. Very big gestures, we tend to follow those gestures with our eyes. So when somebody moves around a lot, we follow their hand gestures.
And unlike Bernie Sanders, who's always doing that weird thing with his fingers, Yang is very, kind of locks on. So I guess when he does something, you pay more attention to it.
Right.
All right.
Because it's beautiful the way he does it. If you watch him, it's like choreographed.
Yeah. I want viewers to also watch this moment we saw from Joe Biden. Now, watch.
Oh,
it seems like he's actually laughing.
Yeah,
you could see it.
He pivots towards her.
As Harris was responding to him.
Right.
So what does that mean? The kind of engaging with what looks like laughter when another person's talking.
Well, what was good was he pivoted towards her, and then he laughed. But then she said something that struck a chord, and maybe 2 seconds later, after this clip ends, he turns around and looks down. So she says something that initially doesn't bother him, so he's allowing himself to look towards her. But then once she says something he doesn't like, he turns back around and looks down. And that's a sign that she said something that hit a sore spot with him.
Yeah, well, I think, again, Biden had the target on his back last night. Now, at one point, Tonya, Senator Booker made this really obvious gesture to Biden after his many interruptions.
Yes.
Mr. Vice President, I didn't interrupt you. Please show me that respect, sir.
So he kept doing that. Now, what does that hand motion movement toward Biden tell us?
So watch what he does. They're engaging, right? They're looking at each other, and then Biden tries to interrupt, and Cory Booker does two things. The first thing he does is he touches him, and we've talked about this, how touching is a dominant status move. So he touches him, but he also puts up his hand like a stop sign. So he puts up that stop sign, touches his hand, which is a dominant gesture, and then look, he breaks eye contact right there. And that's his way of disengaging and saying, hey, I still have the floor here. You need to give me a moment and let me finish my statement.
It was a strong movement. When you're explaining it, I'm watching it like for the first time because I didn't notice any of this stuff. All right. Yeah. Finally, there was this really telling pause from Senator Gillibrand. Oh, yeah. Check it out.
To the people of Michigan.
Well, maybe are we being unfair there? Was she a little not too confident there? There was a couple moments for her like that.
There were several. I think she held her own last night. I think she did well. There were a few times where she was umming way too many times. But in addition to that, she tends to show her anxiety or her lack of confidence during certain times. See with that mic touch? That's called the displacement activity. So it's when you do this, what you're trying to do is regain control. So when you feel like you're being taunted or you're online, you need to grab something to regain control of yourself. And then she blinks a lot. So those are two things that tell you when she's feeling discomfort.
So it's the rudder. The microphone becomes the rudder.
It does. It allows you to, and you'll see this. It's almost like a self-pacification gesture that people do.
All right, Tonya, fascinating. We really appreciate it. Great to see you tonight. And disgraced former FBI Director Jim Comey. Now, he's joined a long list of powerful people who've avoided government prosecution. Why is that? And is he really out of the woods? Dershowitz, DeGeneva, next.
Our president must adhere to the values that are at the